I was a 35 mic human intelligence collector, which means interrogator.
Interrogator where and what kind of, I mean, obviously you can't talk in detail, but could you just give us a general impression?
I went to Iraq with SOCOM, Special Operations Command, and I supported the 75th Ranger Battalion and the Navy SEALs. And basically what I did was those teams would go out, hit targets, whatever they got on the objectives would come back, and I would interrogate them for more exploitation so I can get more targets.
And what sort of activities were you involved in then, in terms of trying to get information?
A lot of it was the detainees would show up. We would put them on solitary confinement, which most people agree is psychological torture, and we would basically systematically break them down mentally to the point where they could only trust us, or they were afraid of us, and we would exploit that fear or trust and get information out of them.
So were you the person who was kind of the nasty one or the nice one?
I was more of the buddy. I was more of the, you can trust me, I'm here to help you, I want you to get out, I want you to go home, so I'm trying to help you out.
So why did you turn up to this protest?
Well, pretty much when I first joined the Army, I was 17, I was very idealistic, and I believed all the stuff they told us. So, we're fighting for democracy, we're fighting to help liberate these people from a tyrant, and if you're anyone who appreciates history or politics or philosophy, that's pretty, that's inspiring to do. So I joined the Army and went to go do that, and then when I came back from Iraq, I was actually watching WikiLeaks, and they showed the original video of them showing the Apache firing on the van and the reporters. It was different because when I was in theater, you don't really realize what you're doing. You're just doing it. Like it's just like muscle memory, and you just do it. But then once I got to take a step back and be more objective about it. It affected me in a way where it's wrong. It's immoral and it's unjust.
And what's been the impact on you, sort of psychologically, after coming back?
Blatantly, the blatant disregard I saw for human life. Like we do not go out and purposely hurt civilians, but there's a lot of disregard for people that aren't involved in the war. Like the big saying was wrong place, wrong time. And to me that doesn't make sense because wrong place, wrong time, well, I'm not from Iraq. This is not my home. This is not where I grew up. That's where that guy grew up. That's his neighborhood. That's his house. That's his street. Yeah, there happens to be a bad guy that lives there, but does that person deserve to die for just walking down the street? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And so what's been the sort of impact in terms of your own reflections on the things that you were doing in Iraq?
I'm sorry?
How's it impacted you now you've come back, basically?
It has been at times pretty tormenting because, there's going to be a lot of guilt with any kind of thing like that because I totally disagree with what happened and what I did. But at the same time, it's a lot of relief because I know it's wrong, and just by coming here, it gives me validation to myself because it's closure. Like I feel like after these I can move on with my life.
And why is it that veterans like yourself are coming to a protest which began on Wall Street?
Because we realize that people actually care. Like, veterans have seen some awful things. And it's hard to come back and explain to people what you saw because, honestly, you don't wish that upon anybody. And two, we live in America. It's pretty stable. You're not going to see a lot of violence. And it's just, honestly, it's good to see that non-veterans here supporting this movement because veterans wholeheartedly support this because, I still have friends in Afghanistan right now. My little brother's going to Afghanistan at Christmas, and it's just, it's getting ridiculous. My little brother was 9 years old. He was 9 years old when 9/11 happened, and now he's going to Afghanistan. I was 13 years old when Iraq started, and then I went to Iraq when I was 18. This has to stop. It's madness. John Lennon was right. The world's run by insane people. And they don't care. I mean, people now realize that the corporations, not corporations, but people with a lot of money profited off the wars. And they lost to humanity. They don't care about us. They don't care about the people getting killed on their side. They don't care about the people getting killed on our side. And they manipulate us. They manipulate our patriotism. They manipulate our good intentions. And it's just wrong.
And now you're actually out of the Army now, and what are you doing?
Back home in Anchorage, I was working at Barnes & Noble, and I was just pretty much just trying to move along and kind of get over it, and then eventually I will go to school and probably be a teacher.
So you are going to, in the immediate term, you're going to be following this movement?
Yes, definitely. I will definitely. I don't see why people aren't in the streets now. Like, honestly, it would take one day if every American for 1 day, for 1 hour, went in the streets and said, I'm not going to work, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna call in sick, I'm just gonna flood the streets. If Americans did that for 1 day, things would change. It's just that people in this country, they're not willing to sacrifice their comfortability. And it's hard work. I mean, we literally, how much of our government is tainted with corruption? We honestly don't know, but we know it's not working.
And the last question I wanted to ask, I guess it's political, but you said change, and everyone now associates change with Barack Obama. Has there been that change that you think should have been there?
I voted for Barack Obama when it was my first election I could vote in, and I honestly think Obama is a good person. I really do. I just think what happened was he was that change, and then he got into office, and the system is so entrenched that one man alone cannot do it.
Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I would like to see Obama support this movement. I think if President Obama came out and said, I support the Occupy Wall Street, Occupy DC, and all these Occupy America, I think he has the people's support. He really does, and he needs to capitalize on it. Like, we're here, we're ready for the change.
Great, thank you.